I think now you can hear me. Now I see some audio levels here. Okay, hello everybody. Let me know if you can hear me now. Is it better? Better or worse? There you go. Okay, all right. So, hello everybody. Welcome back to another stream. It's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. And yeah, it's good being back because this is now the second video of a stream we started last week on Friday, I guess it was. Yeah, that's right. So it was about static analyzer and static analyzers. Why is this so difficult to pronounce? I have no idea. And yeah, we started with using Larastan in the last video and we made it up to level 4 of 8. So these levels define the strictness of the static analyzer. And we made some good progress. And I think today we want to maybe do a little recap, check some of those changes, and then we try to increase the level and go with 5, 6, 7, 8. I have no idea how far we can go and when we hit some limits of changes we can do or we don't want to do. But yeah, I think that's the plan for today. We're going to try this out together, similar to what we did the last time. So some people are already here. Yeah. Not, let's put it, not yet. I'm working on it. We're getting better, but yeah, it's still pretty hard. And on the weekend I didn't code that much, so yeah. There's some background buzzing. Do you still hear that? Is it just Nathan? Because last time we had some issues. Let me check. I think I now canceled audio echoes. Let me know if you think it's better now. In the last stream, we had some issues with the recording because while streaming, Ecamm is also running a recording for this video in 4K at the same time. But this time I disabled it, so I think the stream should be much better than last time. Yeah, I think this would be a good idea. I had some years of PC gaming, but I played Counter-Strike a lot when I was younger, but I think that's, yeah, 20 years ago, something like that. Crazy. Perfect sound. That's good. That's what I hear. That's better. Okay, that's good. So thank you everybody for being here again. I hope you're all doing fine. If you have any questions, just write them into the comments. And without further delay, I think we're going to start here. Yeah, as always, we're going to start by checking out the Larastreamers page and see what's going on here. So currently I am live. Yes, I am. And tomorrow, Steve the King has another stream. Let's build a community platform, episode 2. Okay, so it seems like he's finished with the shop thing he was working on. Now he's working on a community platform. This guy, just amazing. And then on Friday, Frake and I will have another artisan casual talk call. And yeah, still some place for more streams. So yeah, if you have an idea for streaming, just give it a try and do it. Hello, Luan. Nice to have you as well. I don't see the emojis. For me at least. I can't see them, but I hope it's a good one. Good vibes. Sounds good. So I have here a pull request with what we did the last time. And let's just go through it a little bit to do a little recap of what we did in order to make Larastan happy. Because the first time you install a static analyzer like Larastan, PHP Stamp, Psalm, I think they all work almost the same or at least very similar. You run them and then they throw some issues. And sometimes those issues are because of issues you have in your code, which is cool, but often there are some issues for this tool to analyze your code. because if you don't define a type in, then it's more difficult for the tool to analyze your code. So this means a lot of the things that we do was helping Larastan knowing our code. So let's go through some of those changes and let's see what we did. Is this big enough? Maybe one more time. Yeah, I hope it's big enough for you. So here, for example, in our exception handler class here, we have this protected don't report defined. And here we had some doc block where we're saying this is an array. And I think if I remember correctly, in the parent class, this was also defined, but it was defined more strict. So I think in there it was said it was an array of strings. And now we are having this setting this variable and saying it's only an array, and then Larastan is complaining. So one way to deal with this is just deleting the doc block. What we couldn't do is add here a type in, which I would prefer because Laravel hasn't used a type in the main exception handler, which we are extending from. Okay, the same here. What else? Yeah, then here we had a line where we said PHP Stan should ignore this line because here we were doing some things which are not so easy to understand what's going on because we're using hash ID, and the hash ID is not a field on the table, it's an attribute where we're creating it, and in order to create it we need the ID and the name, but then in the end we only want to show the name and the hash ID. So yeah, a little bit complicated for PHP Stan to understand. That's why we said please ignore this one. Then stream resource is a resource which we use. I think for a basic API we're using this, yeah. And here PHP Stan Larastan was complaining because he had no idea about the stream properties which we're using here. Some line downs, you can't see them right here. Can I bring them in? Yeah. So like here, this ID, this title. PHP Stan didn't know what we were referring to. Then we said we were referring to a stream when we're using the stream resource, and that's how Larastan know, okay, this is a model, and here we have those fields. So that's one way telling, defining on a specific class that actually we're using a different class. I think that's how we could call it. Then here also, where we have a callable, where we're saying when we're using this query builder, for using the scope, we are using actually the stream. And it seems this is the syntax we use to define this. We have a builder class, but it's performing on the stream model. I think that's how you would say it. Last time we had, what was his name again? Cal? Oh, forgot his name. Yeah, Ken. Sorry, Ken. Hey, buddy. Nice to have you again. Yeah, Ken is working on Larastan very actively, and I think is one of the maintainers with Nuno together, and he was helping us out quite a lot, which was really nice. Nice to have you here again. Then here, this was also interesting. This is a sushi model, so that's not actually a model with a database table behind it. And here we were using at the end of this class. Yeah, we have lots of countries here. Let me just show the file. Yeah, somewhere down here where we're using this code attribute. And here at the top we were just saying code is a property of this class, it is a string, and this also helped Larastan to understand it. Okay, anything interesting next? Yeah, so here instead of using new self to create a new stream in this case, yeah, I think so, we were using just the stream facade and doing this, and this also helped Larastan to understand that this is a model. I think this was the case. And then, yeah, we were talking about the arrays from the exception handler, and here from the user model we have something similar, where the array is defined as a string in the parent class, but not here in our user model. And one way we could do, like before, just delete the doc plot, or the other way, which we tried here, was just defining the same and saying it's an array of strings. Then here we found some kind of unused code because we found out that the video is never going to be null. So this was pretty cool. I didn't know about that one. And we also found out about two files which we were not using in the code. So this was also nice. So yeah, already some few things where it helped us. Let's check. Yeah, I think these were the main learnings for me, maybe for you as well, the main things that we did the last time. And today we want to move on and try level 5 and see what issues we see then and what error Larastan can find for us. Hey Nuno, hey buddy, how you doing? So Ken is more the author of Larastan. Okay, so now we all know this. Thanks, Ken, for your work on Larastan. I've been looking a lot through the issues and checking out what other people are using and running into, and yeah, it seems there was some work you had to do in order to make it that good like it is now. And yeah, thanks for that, and thanks Nuno for clarifying that. What is Lars saying? Ideally, you should probably add a comment in the code on why you are ignoring this line. Oh yeah, that's a good thing. But I guess at the end of this stream, hopefully, if we're finished and making it to level 8, I'm going over through all the changes again and we check again what we like, what we don't like, and I think then we're also going to talk about maybe adding a comment to see why we did ignore this. All right, yeah, I think then we are ready to try out a new level. So let me check. Am I in the correct branch? Try static analyzer. Yes, I am. And let's open up our PHP style configuration file. And before we start, let's analyze our code again and let's see if we are at 0 issues, because this would give us a good base to start. I can already tell that the laptop is again a little bit is a lot slower than usual, but I don't think we have any issues like the last time. At least it looks much better. By the way, Nathan, this was not a good game yesterday, right? Very disappointing, very sad to watch. What a referee. Oh my god, I hate this guy. Okay, but we have no errors. Back to the topic. So we're going to start introducing level 5 and let's see what this gives us. Yeah, normally when I use it, I will see the output in like 2 seconds. So we're a little bit slower than usual. This again brings me to the topic if I should upgrade my laptop to a new M1 laptop. I already got the Air M1, but let's see. Okay, we have here found 3 errors. So let's check them. First is inside this command, import channel stream command, parameter number 1 callback of method support collection. Expects callable channel int bool and void and illuminate pending dispatch given. I try to understand the error before I'm going into the code. We have a callable for the method each. Okay, so we have a callable which we provide to the each method, and it expects a callable of channel and int. Yeah, so channel is what gets passed, and then int should be the key, and return type bool void. But actually, there's a closure channel. I think I have an idea what this is about, because I was a little bit distracted by pending dispatch. So I think what this is that we are returning something, but actually we're not expecting something. Okay, let's see together. Import channel streams comments, import channel streams comment. And yeah, since last week, I'm using this shortcut to search for classes by just typing the capital letters inside this word. And it's crazy. I'm using this now all the time, and it's so much faster. And you only see really names that are referring to what you typed. So input channel streams command line 19. Okay, let's bring this a little bit down here so that it's better to read. Okay, we have here channel auto import enabled, get a collection, we're looping through all of them, and then we have a closure and YouTube streams. Okay, so I think the issue is that we're here returning something. I'm just... So where does this come from? Bool and void. I think it might come from the each method on the collection class. So normally when you do something with each, you're not returning something because it gets nowhere. I think that's the issue. Okay, but I also think there's no way to use a short closure without returning it, right? So my best guess would be here just introducing a normal closure. Let's copy this here. And let's see. Here, as you can see, I'm not that fast again with the keyboard, but we're getting there. What is he complaining about? Expression result is not used anywhere. Oh, am I missing the dispatch? I think so. Sorry, let's get back. It's sometimes really difficult to code while everything is so small on my screen. Yeah, okay, I deleted too much of it. So here we go. Okay, instead of using the short closure arrow function, we're not returning something. Maybe you already told me if this is the issue or not. I want to give it a try first, and then I'll check the comments. So we had 3 issues. If we resolved it, we should now see only 2. Okay, there's some parse error here because I forgot this one here. Okay, let's run this again. And let's see if this issue is solved. Okay, we have only 2, so it means this solved this issue. Yeah, let's see. I don't think there's any else we can do, but let's check here. Yeah, it's probably better. Also for the others. Yeah, Lars also noted that. Okay, so I think somewhere is defined. Yeah, for each the return type is what was it? Boolean or void? I think so. It would be interesting because of course I like the short closure much more because yeah, it saves me some code here. It's easier to look at it for me, but it seems like I can't use an arrow function without returning something, right? If you know of a way I can do it, but I don't think so. So I'd say technically this would be the correct way to do it because we don't want to return something. Still, I liked the format before better. Yeah, so if you don't have any other idea, let's see. Oh, Nathan ordered a new M1. Which one did he order? Adrian has maybe an idea. Is the job dispatchable? use dispatchable. I'd say yes then. So what would be a better way to do this? Let's see, if it's some of your fancy ideas, I might have to skip if it's out of scope, but let's see. Job name dispatch. Does this help us in any way? Does this help me to use a short closure again? I don't think so, because probably this patch is returning the same as if I use this, right? Let's check again. Job name dispatch. What would be the advantage here, Adrian, except of maybe it's more beautiful to use? So dispatch is returning a pending dispatch. So it could be that using the job dispatch is not returning something. Should we give it a try? Yeah, let's try it out. So let's copy this and then go back to our short closure here. Okay, and then what we could use, job name dispatch. Let's see if this works. Dispatch. And then we need one of those, not anymore. Okay, so the idea is that maybe from this method here, we don't get returned something and then this might work. But actually, I don't think so that this will change something from the output. So I still think PHP then would complain because yeah, okay, we still get the same back. So let's bring back the code that worked. Let's run again to see that this is now being solved, and then I think we're moving on. I don't think there's another way to deal with this, yeah. Okay, next one here. Parameter number 1, minutes of method sparsy iCal calendar generator. Expects int float given. Okay. Calendar controller. Which line? 18. We're talking about the refresh interval. Expects int float given. So I think the easiest way to deal with this is just making it an integer. It's interesting why this even gives me back a float, because I also would have assumed that it's only an integer, but okay, this seems to be working. Okay, no issues with that. Oh, that's a nice machine. M1 Max, 2 terabyte. Wow. Not bad. Not bad, Nathan. I guess this would be also the one that I would want to have. Okay, last thing here, parameter number 1, ID of method feed item ID expects strings int given. Where do we have this? On the stream itself. Stream 194. Expect string int given. So we get the int back from the database, which I think is the default way what we get back. And here we are now inside the sparsy Laravel feed package. It expects a string. Okay, so I guess we could just do this. Yeah, I guess these are one of those things which are normal in PHP. You sometimes don't know if it's an int, is it a string. Mostly it just works and you're fine with it, but with other languages, of course, those things would throw an error immediately, and then you would definitely think about what you have. So we get an integer and we want a string here. And this should be enough to solve it. Good. No errors. This means we can move on to level number 6. Yeah, 6 already. Okay, this wasn't too much, so I'm interested now what happens now. I guess at some point I need to check out the levels and what really is changing, what are the rules for the levels, but maybe that's not something we're going to do this time. So, let's see. I would expect now some more errors, right? Level 6 sounds already quite high. Found 17 issues. Okay, that's a lot. Let's see if it's also a lot of work to fix those things. Let's check out number 1. It's about our action, import video action. Method import handle has parameter approved with no type specified. The method has a parameter with no type. Okay. So these are the things that I was really looking for also with using one of those analyzers, because I know that many people worked on this platform and sometimes there are type hints which have been forgotten, and I think that's a nice way to find them. So import video action. Here we go, line 11. Import video action handle. Oh yeah, okay, that's a method. And approved, of course, is here. Is there any reason why this has no type hint? I guess it's difficult to tell. For me, I don't see any reason why it's not. No, I don't think there's any reason this would be good to not type hint. But let's, if I find the correct shortcut again. Oh my god, it's still super annoying typing on this new keyboard. Let's use parallel testing here, which PHP Storm is not currently able of, which is a little bit faster here for the stream. I just want to make sure that all tests are passing before I change something so that we can then try it out again. Okay, this looks good. Let's make this a Boolean right here. And then run this again. I don't think there's any issue with that. Looks good so far. Yeah, we're ready. We're coming close to 500 assertions, which is pretty nice. Okay, next. Let's run this analyzer again. If you just tuned in and you see PHP Stan, so we are using Larastan, which is like a wrapper from Nuno and oh my god, I always forgot it. It's not can, it's I'm so sorry, man. It's can. Okay, good, can. Can. I think now I got a way to work it because can. Yeah, what I was wanted to say, if you see PHP Stan, so we're using Larastan, which is built above on top of PHP Stan, just to make it easier to work with Laravel. So next thing here is on the add single stream calendar controller. The method invoke has no return type. Yeah, so these are, I guess, easy wins here because we haven't defined some types here and we can easily find them. Add single stream to calendar controller. Yeah, this one. And we are talking about the invoke method here. So what are we going to return? It's a response. And I think it's that one. All right, 16 errors. Run again, and we should see now only 15. And as you've seen, also PHP Storm was complaining, but me or someone else didn't see that. 15 errors. Okay, we're moving on. What's next? Import YouTube channel, which is a Livewire component. The property, yeah, interesting. So it's about a Livewire component, and check again, import YouTube channel. Import YouTube channel. This one here. So yeah, with livewire components, when I started with livewire, I always tended to not use any types because it was just not working. But I think they now have better types now. I think they don't have all of them, but I'm pretty sure that strings should be already available and they should work. So we can make this a string, but then we also have to define a default value because I already know that it will fail if I don't do this because PHP is then trying to use it without any value yet. And I think the next one is also here. Yeah, property language code. Yeah, so let's do this on the same run here. And here we already have a default value. Let's run our tests first. That's also a good point. If I have tried PHP Storm and PHP Storm for inspections, no, I haven't yet, but this is also on my list. Maybe we're also going might do another stream where we check out those things and how to run those analyzers, maybe in a GitHub action or something. So yeah, there's a lot to this topic. But first we have to decide at the end if we find it useful for Larastreamers. I guess that's first what I need to check. All right, tests are good. Then let's run the analyzer again. Here we go, 13 errors. I think we're getting better here. What's the next? Import YouTube live stream. And these are also about properties, and the method with no return type. Okay, again, this should be easy things to fix. Import YouTube live stream. Here we go. So let's go up here. Again, string. Have you switched keyboard lately as well? This is really, really annoying. Also, the funny thing is the first half of this year was using a software called Typing Club, where you have lots of exercises to try to get better at typing because I wanted to improve my type it. Yeah, and I did this the first 6 months of the year, and yeah, now I'm switching to new keyboard, and it feels like I have to do it again, which is pretty annoying. But this keyboard is so beautiful, I really want to make it work. And then line 20, input stream. Okay, what is the return type here? So this is some kind of message bag, I think. And here we're not returning anything. So let's check the method here. Get error bag. New message bag. Yeah, so I think this is what we are going to return if we throw this exception here. I'm okay, but I don't want to run this. So let's try this out. Message bag. Isn't this one? Let's see, and what? But we also have a case where we get here when nothing is being returned. So how do I do this? Actually, I don't know out of my head. Do I just write null? Is it null? I don't think so out of my head, but let's try it. Also not sure if you, Nuno, or Ken are still here. What I suggested the last time, which would be pretty cool to have here some kind of app links here where I can just click it and go directly to the file it's complaining about. This would be really nice. Is it null? I don't think it's null. Maybe it's void. Should return message back null, but return statement is missing. Can I do this? No, I don't think so. Let's see what you're saying. Maybe you have already solved this. I don't know this out of my head. Oh, forced to stay in bed. Okay, sorry for that. So I'm using my tablet with a tablet keyboard. Okay, this is also not fun for sure. Is it this one? Let's try. I don't know. But thanks, Bambabule. Should return message. No, I think that was the same like before. But return statement is missing. So we're actually not returning something. It's only void. Why is it only void? That's a common issue with early return where you don't care what's returned. It's just to make it pretty one-liner. Yeah, that's what early returns are about. So we're early returning here so that it's a little bit more to clear that this is what happens if this is the case, and then we move on with the code. So I'm still not sure what you mean. I can set the void as the return type, and what do I do? And then fix the return type. But I'm still returning here something. I think what I could do, which is probably not the prettiest solution, would be this. I think that this should work. I don't want to use it, but I want to give it a try. Found 11 errors. Now we have only 10. Okay, so this would be one way to deal with it. But let's also check what you have, Adrian. Remove return from... Okay, if I remove the return here, I still need to make sure that the rest is not going to run. Okay, I think you're suggesting I'm not returning something and then use a return here. Nope, probably here. Return what is expected to be message. Yeah, and then we change this to void because actually we don't want to return something. Is this what you were talking about? So if we have a return, then this is, yeah, that's not null, that's void. It's just nothing. Yeah, because null is a value and void is not a value. And then we don't need this anymore. Let's see if this works. But I guess that's what you meant. Yes, yeah. Okay. Let's also see, yeah, okay, it also seemed to work. Okay, let's check this again. So instead of returning here what's being returned here, because we don't care about this, we just want to make our early return stop. And I can see how this is better. And the return type then is void. Okay, got it. Good teamwork. Nice friends. Okay, let's move on. What's next? Stream list archive. What's the issue? Property query string has no type specified. Okay, it should be easy one. Stream list archive. Stream list archive. Okay, that's an array. And type must not be defined as in base class. So again, this is an issue where this is not being defined in the base class. Should we check this? Yeah, let's give it a look. Component, query string. Okay, no type here. So this means for us, I think we have to introduce a doc block then in order to make this work. Is this already correct? We have an array of strings with an array. That's what PHP Storm suggested. Currently we have 10 errors. Let's see if this fixes it. Because I haven't seen this before. 9 errors. Okay. So we have an array with an array of strings, right? Or we have an array with strings with an array. I don't know which way around to say it, but at least it seems to be working. All right, then did we already run this? No. Let's check again. What's here? Submit YouTube live stream. Okay, that's a different one. Submit YouTube live stream. Yeah. Here we go. What's the issue? Property YouTube ID or UL has no types specified. 13. Okay, are we again in livewire component? Yes, we are. So I think that's the same like before. We're saying it's a string and we're keeping it empty. And the same here for the email. All right, here we already have it. Okay, it's interesting. We did it for this one, but not for the other ones. So you can see already how this analyzer also helps our code to be more consistent in terms of errors, in terms of types. Yeah. 7, we're getting closer. What's next? Submit YouTube live stream. That's where we're already in. The property messages has no type defined. Let's see if we can add array here. Oh, interesting. Here we can add them. So this means they are not defined in the parent class. Okay, good. Easy one. Submitted by email sounds like a bool. I would disagree here. So every time I use a bool, I would do something like is submitted by email. I think that's what I tried to do with all my Boolean values. So I think for me it's fine. What about this one here? Stream approved mail. The method build has no return type. Okay. Stream approved mail. Stream approved mail. Here we go. Line number 19, build. Okay, what are we returning here? This. I guess PHP Storm can help us here. Yeah, I guess this would be the same as self, right? Is there any advantage of using the other one or this one? Actually, I don't know if there are any differences. Do you know if there are any differences using self or the class? I think there could be some differences if we have a parent or a child class, where maybe self could then be the child class. I think I've been running into some issues with similar things before, but I guess that's the only difference. Submitted stream email. Submitted stream email. Nope. Stream submitted mail. Here we go. Which line? Number 19. Oh, the same. Okay. It's impossible for me to write a word without any typos. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Okay, 5. Can we get a 4? Hello, Matteo. Ciao. How are you doing? Nice to have you here as well. Adrian is a fan of self. The class could be another instance. Self is always this. Okay. Sounds like a valid reason to use self. Okay, 4 errors missing. YouTube rule, property message has no type specified. It's interesting. We see a lot of issues currently, a lot of things that PHP stand find, which I would have assumed would be already in level 1, 2, or 3, where we're only missing some types. But if you remember, the issues that we had on the first level were actually a little bit more difficult for us to solve. Not really difficult, but you have to know about the different doc blocks, variables, properties, mix-ins. So what's this? Public string message. Yeah. Could it be that you wrote this class, Adrian? It could be. Oh no, I think maybe it was Freak. Okay, I think it wasn't you. So, all right. I think that's it. We are getting closer to 0. 3 errors. What's this one? On Twitter service. Tweet has no return type. Twitter. Line number 16 here. What are we doing here? Yeah, interesting. Similar to before. So here we are returning nothing again. Similar to before, but here already PHP Storm is complaining. Yeah, missing return argument. And here we are returning an array. So what would be the best way to deal with this? Can I do something like array void? Okay, void can only be used standalone. Okay, I should remember this now. Okay, so what's the best way to deal with this here? Because we still want to return something here. So what I could do is I could add this Twitter call inside this method. This would be one way to deal with this, but of course, I'm a fan of early returns, and this is an edge case which I want to have on top. What would be another way? Let's see. Pretty sure you guys already have an idea. Matteo, not void. You can do question mark array. Okay, but then I need to return null. So so that's what Matteo is suggesting, but then I think I have to return here null. Let's see, PHP Storm seems to be happy. Let's see if PHP Stan is happy as well. 2 errors. I think we solved this one. Yeah. Are there any other ways? Let's see. What did Adrian say? Return null or return an array. Okay, so yeah. If you want to have it more consistent to always return an array, we could also return here an array. I guess this depends then on what we're doing with this. Oh, let me check. What do we actually return here? It's an array of this here, and what do we get back? It's an array, an object with some, yeah, some information about the request, I guess. Okay. So I don't think it's something we're going to use anywhere inside our code. Where was I? Where was I? Oh yeah, I wanted to check where this tweet method is being used. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, so actually I think we're never going to use it. So I think we could make the return type void and not return something at all. But I don't want to think too much about decisions we made about the code. So we just want to make sure that PHP is happy. And I think that's one of the ways to do it. Yeah, okay. I'm fine. Let's move on. Channel data method. Channel data fake has parameters args with no type specified. Channel data. Here we go. Fake method. What's this? It's sometimes it's an array, sometimes it's not. Right? Yeah, we're checking if it's an array. So normally if it would only be an array, I would do something like this, but it could also be a string then, right? Let's check if it's not an array, what are we doing? Wait, let me see. If it's let's go through this real quick. I'm currently not sure. I think Adrian might wrote this one. So if the first element of the array arguments, if it's an array, then we're setting the arguments to the first one. Okay, now I'm interested what happens if it's not an array. Yeah, because we don't get in here. If it's not an array, we're just passing it in here where we're going to merge. I'm a little bit confused right now why we don't. Let's check where we're going to use this one. Channel fake. What are we passing in here? Passing the stream data in here. Already some more comments. That's a good one. Lars likes this one. And Madea also said that always returning an array could be useful as well in the last case to keep it consistent. Yeah, I do agree here. So yeah, we also have a mixed type. So like saying it could be anything, we don't care. Yeah, this should work for sure. But I'm still a little bit confused. I might have to check this again later. Why? What are we actually doing here? Because for me, it seems like we're not. I don't get why we even check if it's an array if it's not being used without an array. Okay, but it seems to be fixing the issues. This means we can move on to stream data where we have the same thing. Okay, stream data. Here we go. We're just looking for fake method. And here's the same. All right. By the way, Adrian, did you write this fake method? Or maybe someone else did, because I definitely didn't create this one. Okay, no errors. This seems good. So this means we have managed level 6 already. Yeah, okay, that means we can move on to number 7. But before we do this, let's run our tests again, yeah, just to be sure. Oh yeah, so Adrian was the one who wrote that one. Level 9 is to avoid keyword mixed. Yeah, we could add this one. Because yeah, I guess in terms of analyzers, mix is not something that we really want to use if there are other ways. But I first have to check again what this method is actually doing in order to determine what types we really want to use. Okay, tests are passing. Number 7. Let's go. I'm really curious now what we see, what kind of issues we see. If we now see some different issues or the same, but maybe more strict or something completely else, and if we're able to manage that. Okay, this already looks interesting. Let's start with the first one. Sort streams by date action. Cannot call method format on carbon false. Streams by date action. All right. Streams by date action line 18. Okay, he's complaining about cannot call the method format, which we're calling here, on an object that could be a carbon object, but also could be false. Why could it be false? Because of this here. So I guess, can we check this one? Yeah, so the return type is it could be carbon or it could be false. So, and of course now PHP Stan Larastan is complaining about, yeah, you are trying to call this method, but it could be false. So what do I do then? So let me check. Can I do this? Can I only run the format if the date object is given? Let's try. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea if this solves it. 8 errors, we're running this. If we see 7, this could be a solution. If not, we need to think. Do we have no more errors than before? I think so. Using null save method call on non-nullable type carbon false. Use. Okay, so he's not happy about this one. Okay, let's see what you already have here. What would be a good way to deal with this? This looks already funny. This can be a little bit of a nightmare. Yeah, I think this is something that could help. Let's try this out real quick. If I'm going to say this is a carbon object, I think then PHP then thinks, okay, it's a carbon object, it's not false, so I'm happy. Let's see again. We have now 9 errors. I think this could be a solution. Okay, we're still at 9. Let's see. Cannot call method format. Are we still in the same? Yeah. On carbon false. Okay, I would have assumed that this might have worked, but it doesn't seem to. Let's see if we have some other suggestions. Adrian was suggesting pass. Lars is saying this has the same problem. Could be. If it is false, throw an exception. Okay, we can try this. I mean, we can of course do this. So this would be a valid solution that we handle exactly the case when this is false. I just want to check if there are any others. Is this what I did? Oh yeah. It's not the date, it's the date object here I want to set. So let's see. I guess I was just using the wrong variable. Oh yeah, okay, this seems to be better. So we here explicitly telling PHP the data object is of the class carbon. Of course, we can discuss if this is a good solution because we still have an issue in our application if we get false back here, which we haven't handled yet. But from the analyzer perspective, this would solve it. I guess this is also interesting, how those kind of analyzers help you to think about your code. Because yeah, I'm using lots of things like that in my applications where I'm not checking what happens if maybe this is not a correct date and then we get false back. And that's always some of the decisions you have to make as a developer. How good do you know what data gets into your application? Does it come from the user? Does it come from the database? Does it come from an external service? Does this come from YouTube? And so on. So yeah, here in this case, I'd assume this comes out from the database, where I would assume that everything is fine. But still, it could be an interesting topic to talk about. When do we check if this is false? Would you do it yourself? Maybe that's a good question. Would you check if it is false in your application? Or wouldn't you? I guess in terms of the analyzer, this would now fix it, which I think is what we currently want to do. Make PHP Stan happy without changing our code too much. Absolutely right. I guess that's also why I was confused and why I was trying to use state. Okay, here's where this belongs. Still, it was interesting that it still worked, but yeah, I guess PHP Stan doesn't care where you define this, at least if you define it before where this is being used. Carbon parse is better. It returns a value or throw an exception. Okay, should we try this out as well? I think we can. So I think it's just parse here. What are the parameters? The time. What's the second? I guess it's parsing it just automatically. Do I just have to pass in the date? I think, and then the rest would be the time zone. So I don't define any format, right? Okay, let's see first if Larastan is complaining. Okay, seems to be good. But now let's also see if our tests are also fine with that. I think I've never used the parse method on Carbon before. I guess I'm always afraid that it gets the date wrong. Okay, seems to be working. But still bring this back here because I think it's one of those examples we want to check later where we see where we define this. It's pretty interesting for me. How do Carbon knows if I don't define this here, for example, what is the month and what is the day? How does Carbon know that if I don't tell him explicitly without defining the time zone? I guess Carbon would check the local time zone from my application and then define. So I would be pretty afraid that it gets the date wrong. Yeah, I also think this is only passing because we don't have a test covering yet. But interesting. Maybe I check this later. So I'm talking about if I do parse and then this is the format of the date here. How does Carbon knows this is the day and this is the month and not the other way around, which is being used as well? Interesting. Interesting, but not the topic for today. Let's move on and let's fix the last issues for level. Are we already level number 7? I think so. Okay, that's an interesting one. On the model stream, cannot access offset host on array with scheme. Okay, it seems. I think I know what this is about. Let's check out the stream model. 234. All right, yes, here we are using the parse URL method where we get the host and the path back, but yeah, those are just optional. So I guess that's what this error is about. So there could be a host, but maybe there's not a host. And the same as with the path. There could be a path, but maybe there's not. Okay, so what are ways we can solve this? Okay, let's try. The first thing that came into my head that I'm going to say, the URL is going to be an array of strings. Could this already solve it? Let me try to think it through. Actually, I don't know, because he was specifically asking for host and path, and what if they are not given? Would this help us anyway? I don't think so. Okay. Okay. This solved it. Okay, so why does it solve it? What's the explanation? Actually, I don't know what's the explanation why this is working. We are telling that the variable URL is an array of strings. Yeah, I think the difference now is that we're not defining, like we've seen here, that there is a host where we have it here, host which is optional. I think we're some way we're kind of overriding this here, where we're saying there are strings which are optional, specific ones. Probably this is how we could explain it. Data get is better. Yeah, I think it's probably not the nicest solution here, but I think it's a good example for what people are using and how to deal with it in PHP Stan. So I don't complain too much about it, but yeah, Adrian, you could do a PR for this for the main branch and change it to a nicer solution. I would be happy to have that. But for this stream, I think it's interesting because these are things that people use. That's a method of PHP. Pretty sure it's being used a lot. By the way, let me check this real quick. There is this platform called PHP Safari. And here it seems parse URL is being used a lot. But then I guess that's a perfect example of why this platform could be useful. It's, by the way, a platform by Adrian, and you still have to work on it, promote it, man. And yeah, see how people are using this method. And I think this would be the perfect example. You're using this method, you analyze it, explaining, you think about what would be a better way to use it, and then maybe here a Laravel, a Livewire are using it in a better way, and then you can check it out and change it. By the way, the design looks a little bit better than last time. Did you work on it? But what about this one, Adrian? I think you're missing a logo. Did you talk to Kaneko? Do you have a logo? Not really. Okay, but yeah, I think that's a good use case of this platform. So please work on this platform, maintain it, add more projects, and then I think it's a good use case. And yeah, we still have some issues with the similar thing because we're using this on the add streams to calendar as well. Add streams to calendar. Is it this one here? I think so, line 14. Yeah, here we go. So again, I think I just want to go with this solution here for now. It's an array of strings. And this should solve level number 7. Here we go. Not so bad. We are 46 minutes in. We've made level 6 and 5, 6, and 7. So 3 more levels and 1 more to go. Cool. That's nice. Again, let's run our tests. Again, I'm using my console because here I can use the parallel testing. You know, some people are saying if there are no tests, there's no package. There are also some people saying if there is no logo, there is no website. I guess Kaneko would say something like this. Okay, tests are looking good. Tests are looking good. So this means neon. This means we are going to level number 8. We need some sounds here. Do you have some sounds? I only have this one. That's not so good. This one. No, I think you don't hear them. Never mind. Level number 8. Okay, let's try this out. So this is the highest level of PHP Stan. So I already noticed one more thing we then could do, which we might try as well. I've seen Nuno using this in his talk. Check missing iterable value type, which I think would break then everything. But let's go with level 8 first and see if we can make this work. All right, here we are, 12 errors. Let's check the first one. Cannot call method update on app models stream / null. So we've already learned a little bit more. So this looks like maybe there's a stream, but maybe it's also null. And then we're probably running the update method on it. And yeah, if it is null, then the update method would make no sense. And we're talking about the import channel. Let's copy this one. And we are on line 47. here. Stream here we're calling the update method. All right. Where does the stream come from? Here. Stream where we were checking for a specific video ID and then get the first one. And of course, there could be that there is no stream at all. Then we would get back here null. Yeah, with a collection, we're trying to get the first, but it's empty. We should get null back. So I think what we can do here is, for example, this one. Let's try. This could be one of the solutions. From 12 errors, we should get now to 11. Okay, this would work. Yeah, again, this could be also an application decision. So like we're checking, I guess I could also do something like if there is a stream, then we're going to run this, but yeah, that's basically the same, right, as before. Yeah, even PHP Storm tells that we could just use it like this. What could be a benefit of the other way, it would be a little bit more explicit, seeing what we're doing. Yeah, the only issue is here that the code is running, but we don't know that it didn't work as we expected it. So probably we could do something here also like first or fail. Let's see if PHP Stan gets that. Found 11. Let me see. Okay, that's a different one. So yeah, I guess it depends on your application, how you're handling exceptions. Where are we here? We are inside our import channels for streams comment. So I guess for me, I don't want it to fail here because we're looping through all the videos. And I think in this case, it would be better if there is no stream, we just don't want to update here. And then we move on with the other streams inside this collection. Yeah, I think that's how I would deal with this here. Kind of saying you can update it in one query. So in one. I think I get it now. Yeah. So what I could do is I update the stream where YouTube ID is this ID and then update it with this data. Yeah. That's true because then we are doing this in one query, which would be better, of course. So I guess I'm writing this down. I think this would be an improvement, which is better because then we would just only need one query, right? Update the stream where YouTube is the ID is that, and then update. Yeah. Let me write this down. Import channels for streams comment. Moncree. Good suggestion, Ken. Thanks for that. So we're going to change this, and I think then we would also don't have this error here, this issue with this call. But again, I want to keep it in here because it's another example of one way we could fix our code to make PHP Stan happy. And at the end, I want to check all the changes we did and see what are possible solutions and which solutions we like and which we don't, and go through all of them. All right. What's this one about? Import. Okay, it's the same. What's happening here? using null save method call on non-nullable type. I think I forgot this here, right? Yeah, I think we've lost this here, which we had before in the code. All right, yeah. All right. Okay, next thing here. Update channels comments. We want to check it first. Cannot call method update on models channel now. Okay, that's the same thing here. Update channels comment. Yeah, it's exactly the same, but we are okay. It seems here we are running the update directly on the method we get back, but still it's the same issue that it could be null. So again, this should fix it for this code, but again, he would also run an update on the channel. So we only have one query. Let's also write this down, update channels comment. All right, I think I'm doing this right after the stream. Improving the code here. Okay, what else do we have? Line cannot call method prepare for model on channel data or null. Okay, let's see what this is about. Here we're trying to call this method on the channel data, but this could also be null. Then yeah, we might think we could do this one here, but I think this would also fail. Let's give it a try, because then the update method should fail, right? Often update expects array, but not null. Okay, so this is also not an option here. So again, let's check. Okay, here we have already defined that this is a channel data or it could be null. So I guess I could just delete this and then it would be fine for the check, but do we also like this? Let's check again. We are calling here YouTube response, we're a platform ID. Okay, we're looking for specific videos for a specific platform. We only get the first one. Okay, again, first or fail could solve this. If not, what would be other solutions? Delete the null, then we could check only if the channel data is given. So something like this should also work. I hate this keyboard, and this keyboard hates me. Yep, so I think this should also do the trick, right? So I'm just thinking through possible solution which we could do. We only want to update, of course, if there is channel data. Might not be the most beautiful solution, but it seems to be working, yeah. Okay, but you can see as those things can, make your code sometimes not easy to read. So what is, if this is given, then if this is given, and yeah, here we're also defining that something could be channel data or could be null. So we often have to think about also if we maybe want to throw an exception and then handle all the exceptions for not finding a model altogether, which might be more beautiful. Okay, but that's not the topic of today's streams. It also seems I'm losing my voice a little. Um, Optional channel data prepare. Isn't this the same optional as this one? Or then you, okay, I see. Default is then an array. Okay, okay, I see. Yeah, this could also work, but I think also not the most beautiful solution. Let's go to the next one. Submit YouTube live stream. Line number 40. What is it saying? Property submit YouTube live stream, YouTube ID or URL does not accept string null. YouTube ID or URL does not accept string null. Okay, let's check this. No idea what this is about. Okay, here we are saying here we're detecting the YouTube ID from the ID or the URL because you could define both for the submission of a new streams. Does not accept string or null. So I guess there is a way where this is going to end up being null, and that's why PHP Stan is complaining. Oh yeah, here we have this beautiful check here. If it's a YouTube ID. Okay, yeah, so if there are no matches, then this could be null. And I guess that's what he's complaining about. So yeah, this also now interferes a little bit with design decisions. So it seems we haven't. So could there be a mess? So when is this null? Okay, here we're checking if it's a URL. Okay, so this means it's a valid URL. But if it's a URL where we don't get any result, then this is going to be null. And that's what it's complaining about. So yeah, then we have to think about the situation where this could be null. What do we do when if this happens? So we haven't defined this. So let's check. I think what we could do is we could just return an empty string because later here we're already validating and it would still throw an error saying that the YouTube ID is not empty, which is not the correct error, but still it would prevent from moving on. But I guess best solution would be again to show a specific message showing that this is not. I really hate that PHP Storm. Every time you leave your cursor somewhere for a second, it shows this crazy pop-ups. So yeah, so we definitely need to change our code here and try to find a better way to deal with those situations where yeah, there is a URL which is not giving us any results. So again, this is something we have to check later. I think I'm going to do a stream with some of the changes we found today that we need to do because I don't want to spend time on them here today in this stream. But it's interesting how PHP Stan helps us to find those situations, which it seems to be it didn't happen so far, but still we want to handle those. So let's determine YouTube URL matches. Okay, I really like how this analyzer tool is helping us finding those situations that we need, that we might didn't think enough about what happens if we don't get this back. I think for now this should be enough for PHP Stan to move on, but we'll keep that in mind. I'm going to change this later. Oh, Adrian on fire in the comments. What's going on? Instead of an empty string, it should be the property itself. I'm not sure if this is the correct way to deal with this, because this is then an invalid URL which we are returning. So and then the validation would go on without any errors, and that's what I want to prevent. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. The input will be the user gives in the URL. It's a wrong one. It's not one where we have some matches here. We're going to change it to an empty string, and then it will be empty string for the user, and the user has no idea what's happened. It's just seeing that please provide a URL, and he thinks he did it, but it was just added. So yeah, for sure, this is not a solution for the problem. It's just a solution for PHP Stan to move on, because we have to change this code in order to provide some valid error message for the user so that he knows what's going on. So I know it's not a good solution for the user, but I don't care about the user here on this branch where I'm only checking this tool. Okay, let's see what's next. Number 40, what's going on here? Okay, there's still an issue. Okay, so we haven't fixed it yet. Property does not accept string null. Let me see. Is this still an issue? I thought I have solved it. No, I haven't. Does not accept string null. Okay, so why is it still null? Oh, that's why. That's the issue. We have defined the return type so that it could be null. And that's why PHP Stan is complaining. Yeah, okay, good. Let's move on to the stream. Parameter number 1 hash of static method decode expects string and null given. Mm, 180 and 3. So expects a string. So the decode method expects a string here, but string or null given. Because yeah, here we have defined that it should be string or null. And I think, yeah, so here I think we're using this in the search. Scope all the given streams by specific user, and then we provide a hash ID of the user. But I think we're using the scope also in cases where we don't have this ID. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's check real quick. By streamer. Here in the archive. Wait, what? Here I wanted to go. Yeah, so that's the archive page, and here we are defining what you see on the archive page. And depending on if we have some search terms or if we have a streamer defined, then we do this. So it could be that we don't have a streamer defined. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, so this method is not happy if it's null. So I think one solution could be giving it a default value of an empty string, which would lead here into null, because here we're trying to decode an empty string and there won't be a result for this. So I think in terms of PHP stand, this should solve it. Again, not the best solution here, but yeah, I don't want to have to come up with good solutions for all these issues. We'll actually want to concentrate on PHP stand. Okay, so that this would solve it. Yeah, because we don't want to get null here. Hello, Milovan. Nice to have you on the stream. So let me see. Here we're checking when we have a channel ID. So here we are already checking if we don't have anything. If this is null, this is not being run. But if we have a channel ID, this is going to run. So we could also check if the streamer hash is null. And then if this is null, yeah, we will also want to, because here we're checking builder query where channel ID is channel ID, and the channel ID is what we get through this. Yeah, so I guess what we also could do is yeah, if streamer hash ID is null, then we just return and we do nothing. Yeah, I guess that's an issue of, because here, for example, we're using this every time, even if we don't have a streamer. So this method is also being run if we actually don't want to search for a streamer, but this way we don't have to check if a streamer is given and then we want to do this. I mean, we're still doing it, but we're not doing this here where we have those chained method, where it looks pretty nice. So these are all the things that we would do in just one call. Yeah, so I guess this would be also a solution to just check if, let's try it out. If I guess it would just return the builder then, or the query in that case. And let's just see if this also solves it, but I'm pretty sure it should. Which would be a little bit more obvious than saying the default hash ID is an empty string. Okay, it seems that this solved it. Let me just check the time. It's okay, we have about 15 more minutes. Let's see if we can do this. Stream line 200. What's going on here? The parameter number 1, summary of method, summary expects string. Maybe this is null. Why could this be null? Yeah, because we don't know if this is set. Okay, so it's complaining. I guess that's only for other methods here as well. What happens if there's no description because the summary method wants a string, and what if there is no string? Of course, we probably could do something like this, and then we have some empty string for the description, which I think we're going to have to do a lot if we need to go down this way. Maybe we could also define here that this has some properties which is a string. I think we've done something similar before. Are there any other ways to deal with that? I guess the description is nullable in the database. Oh, yeah, this could be the reason. Okay, so this means Larastan is checking the migration files for those properties and sees if they are nullable. Is this the case? This would make sense, of course. Yeah, another solution, of course, would be also to just say that this is a string, no matter what. And this probably also works. 6 errors. Now we have only 5. Yeah, so this could also be one of the solutions. So yeah, it's interesting. So these are things that I haven't dealt myself because yeah, the code is running and the tests are running, and mostly I'm fine with this. But of course, there are things where this could go wrong, and then we have to deal with them. Okay, thanks, Ken. So it scans the migration, which is good to know. So Larastan scans the migration and checks if this field is nullable, and then it says, hey, this field might be nullable. Maybe you want to check what you want to do if it is null. So yeah, I think we're fine with something like this in those cases for now. Let's see what's the next one. Probably there are more. Stream 201 updated. Is updated also nullable field? Oh, they are both nullable. Okay, that's interesting. I would have never assumed that they are nullable because I don't want anything in my database without that. Okay, also the same thing what we are doing here if updated add is nullable, because here I guess the method is expecting a date. So here we can't just cast it to a string. We probably would need to define a default date, yeah, which also doesn't make any sense. Like carbon today, yeah. I'm not sure. How would you deal with that? What would you do here? That's why I don't use them and enforce it to be not nullable. Yeah, so I would do this as well because I don't want them to be nullable at all. Yeah, something like this, which would be a little bit smaller. But yeah, does it make sense to have here we are, I think here we're creating a feed here. Does it make sense to have updated and now? Yeah, it also makes no sense. I could also use the created ad, but I think we have the same issue there. So for me, it feels like here we are trying to make PHP Stan happy and not our application. But still, yeah, there could be something where the description or the summary is not given in the database because it's nullable, so it's a valid point to talk about. So we might need to end up checking here. If a description, then we add a summary. Or if there's no description, we have a kind of default description. If to update it, add, yeah, something similar. So again, these are more application design decisions. We have to think about what we need to do in order to find a good way to deal with them. For now, let's leave it like that, yeah. Okay, let's see what's next. But yeah, I like how PHP Stan helps me think about some of the design decisions made for this application by me or by others. On the stream, 219. What's happening here? Cannot access property name on a model that could be null, right? Again, we can solve this by, if there's no channel, then we don't want to get the name, which I think is fine here because we're just creating the description by adding some of the fields here. Number 21, what's here? Parameter 1 string of static method string of expect strings. This also might be null. Yeah, it's a good point. Oh, interesting. We have solved it here with this when not empty. Then we prepend something. When not empty, prepend string repeat. Okay, I see. Yeah. So yeah, the same thing here. What are we doing if the description is nullable? Yeah, again, I think the best would be to not make the description nullable at all. Because here we're talking about streams, they always have a description. Why is it nullable? Why is the description even nullable? Wait, where does description come from? Is it not in the stream? What are we talking here about? This description? Where do we have a description? Not on the stream, right? Or maybe we added it later. Yeah, this could be the case. I think so. Add description. Here we go. Yeah, who made this nullable? Probably it was myself, but I don't know. But I'd like to complain about it. Let's get back. Okay, so in an ideal world, this shouldn't be nullable, and then we wouldn't have to run into issues with that. Again, I could just say that if it's null, then we have an empty string or something like this. But yeah, this is. Yeah, description was added later. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can cast this. And let's move on. How many are still missing? I think maybe only one or two. Yeah, two. Parameter created of method. Yeah, I think that's the same. 226. All right. And I think there's now only one left. Let's see about this one. YouTube client, the method get plan start should return carbon, but also carbon could be null. 86 on the YouTube client. Let's see. The method get plant start. Yeah, this one should return carbon, but it could be null. Okay, that's because we don't have here default value. We're using data gets to get something specific from an array. I think here we could define a default value. Is this possible? Yeah, default. So what was this? Scheduled start time. Yeah, so these are all the things where it just wouldn't make sense adding here some kind of default date because it would be false, and it would be wrong for what we see. So actually in application, we're depending on that there is a scheduled start time. So this means if there is no scheduled start time, actually we should throw an exception or something because there's no way we could deal with that. But since we're already over time and I don't have any other idea, let's just use the now method. And do we have the same for the next line? Published at? Doesn't seem so. Okay, does this mean now we have done everything? Oh, found one error. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, I think it's still the same issue here. It's just showing a different line, but nope, it's not. Okay, let me see. What did I do wrong? Should return carbon, but carbon or null. Why could it be null? This to carbon, probably the to carbon date. Yeah, this is the issue. All right, so carbon, the to carbon method could return something which is null, which we don't know because it depends on what we get in there. So, and since is this a method inside our class? Who created this one? I see. Adrian did for sure because we're using parse here. I wouldn't have used that. So if the string is empty, we're returning null. So of course I could delete this now and say if the string is empty, we're returning a date for now, which would solve it for all the times we're using the to carbon method. Yeah, you guys liked it. That's how I know where Adrian was working on. So yeah, but the idea is still good that we return null if there's no carbon, but we're not handling it the right way. Or actually the return type should be, what happens if I say this return type could be null as well? I think it would just shift the error to another place, but it solves the PHP stan issue, yeah. All right, let me check again. Was this level number 8? Did we finish level number 8? Yes, we did. Oh my God. We did it. We are actually 2 hours in. We've made Larastreamers work with level 8. So I'm not going to check the errors, but I just want to see how much more we get if we enable this option. I think every time we're using an array, it should complain because it needs to know what is inside the array. If I understand it correctly, yes, there are quite a few errors. Let's just loop a little bit over them and see where they are. So our YouTube clients. inside some classes of Laravel itself, which are inside our application, event service provider, the model, middlewares from Laravel, the kernel. Yeah, so lots of places where this throws an error. Fortify, yeah, for chat stream, Fortify, lots of things. Okay, so yeah, we don't have time to check them out. I also don't have an idea if it makes sense to check them out. And what benefits would that bring to applications? I might have to check this later myself if we want to talk about them as well. But yeah, so we've made it to level 8. What do we think about Larastan? What do you think about Larastan? What do you think about the things you have seen from Larastan? Do you use it in your application? Have it helped you? What do you think about the changes that we did? Let me commit them and let's check them again. It's a little bit easier to check them on the pull request then itself. Adrian doesn't like it at all. So why don't you like it? Guess because of the changes you have to write. What are the other opinions? Do you like Larastan? Do you like what you've seen? Do you think it could be useful to your applications? So I think I have 3 or 4 minutes, then I really have to leave, but I really want to try to come up with a kind of recap for what we did now, trying to go to level 8 with PHP Stan, Larastan, and seeing what we did to our application. So here are some really good things which I like because it helped us to find a lot of places where we didn't use any types. I'm not sure if there are other ways to find those. I think there are, but it's a good way and it definitely helped. Then here again, another place where we helped PHP stands. These are lines of code, which I don't specifically like, but I know that we don't know what we get back from here, and we have to tell PHP stan what it is in order to understand the code. Here, that's also something which is a little bit of annoying because here I could use the short closure, which I think looks much better. But yeah, why can't we write short closures where we don't return something? I'm not sure if I maybe could also override here the return types from the method for a doc block. Would this be possible? So that I could say there is something being returned, at least here. It wouldn't make sense because we don't do anything with it, but yeah, so these are situations where I'm not sure if I like those benefits here, or if we get enough benefits by changing this just to make the analyzer happy. Yeah, this was also interesting for me, of course, and some new learnings. How do we handle if the value could be null, which could be the case every time we run the first method on a collection, for example. In this case, we can use one query, which would help, but yeah, these are things that I will definitely think about more the next time I do something like this. So I think that's a benefit here with the analyzer telling us exactly what's happening and if we really expected that or if we didn't think about it, which is also often the case. What did we do here? Some formatting. Yeah, also the same thing, checking if data is given. So these are some very similar issues here. These again, some things that we didn't see, which I like that we found now. I also think those changes are nice, where we specifically giving a method what the method asks for. And if this gives us back a float, then we can make it an int. And I think that's also a good advantage. Also with Livewire, I'm glad that typing on those types here seems to be working now better than in the past, which is pretty cool because first PHP Storm is not complaining with some underlined code, and also I have my types which I really like. It's the same here. And also here interesting, yeah, when to use return. We can use void instead of returning null. And here for me, good to know that void you can only use alone. Here we also helped again with some doc block, some types we added again. Also some interesting decisions we have to make about our app, what we do if something is null again. These are all things that I often didn't think about, and I'm also afraid it's pretty interesting how good they work without handling all those issues. Of course, the more robust you want your application to be, the more tested, the more use cases you want to fix, the better it is to make it as explicit as possible. Still get that, but yes, some of the things you don't even notice while coding. Yeah, for me, one takeaway, of course, really think about if you want to make a field nullable, because if there's always something you want to write in and you always want to use it somewhere, then you probably shouldn't do it nullable. Shouldn't make it nullable. All right, here again, we're helping out by saying that what we get back is an array of strings. Yeah, once we used mix, for me, those mix situations are situations where I have to think, okay, what do I want to do with this method? What am I really dealing with? Can I be more explicit here? So these are things that I have to check out for sure. Okay, guess that's it. Let's see. I got quite some comments here. So, oh, Adrian loves non-strict types in Laravel. You really do? Yeah, that's something what I think too. It gets you think about your code more, which I think is very useful. PHP, once a string gets null casted, it is powerful, but I think it also could introduce some behavior you don't think about. I think most of the time it forces you to change perfectly valid code or hack it to make it work. Yeah, that's also what always was my opinion about it before I tried it myself. And it still is. It feels like you're hacking your code in order to make it work for PHP stat. But on the way, we still have found some valid things. And also, what I think about is with all those knowledge we give PHP stat about our code, I think in the future it could help us to find more bugs or situations which we don't want to have. So this is one thing that I can't tell how important this could be. Having this tool, being able to analyze your code in the future and help you find things in the future just because we've added some of those doc blocks, for example. And this is something I can't just grasp and know for now how important this could be. But I think about that. Maybe let's also get in here for checking the comments. Larastan is like TypeScript. It's very useful, but it could be annoying due to the errors that we have to fix. Yes, I've used TypeScript just once, or let's say one period of my career, which is like 6 years ago. I used it for maybe 1 or 2 months, and I really liked it because of those type checkings. Of course, it can be annoying where you think about what is now the return type. How do I make this work? I don't care what I write. I just want to make it work. Of course, those are not the situation which, sound very helpful. But there's a lot about TypeScript which I think I would like. I would like it, but I'm lazy about it. Yeah, I get this feeling. Mm. You can use short closures with each. Wait. What? How can I do this? I can cast the output to a boolean. Interesting. I'm not going to try it because I don't have any more time, but that's interesting. Yeah, if I remember correctly, boolean was one of the types which was okay. Interesting. Thanks, Sebastian. That's an interesting point. I will try this out right away. Yeah, this would be also interesting for me. What would be the workflow and how I use it? Do I run it like every time before I do a pull request? Do I integrate it into um, my my Git actions or something? That's also something which I don't know yet for sure. What are the best ways to do? Dispatch and true. Okay, cool. I will try this out. Okay, let's see. Are there any more questions? Oh, I think one of the reasons we did this was for me to find out if I'm going to use this on Larastreamers. Am I going to use it? Actually, I don't know. I can't tell myself. There are lots of changes which I didn't like, but also Larastreamers is one of those applications where I try out a lot of stuff. So it might be the perfect place to try it out and maybe try it for a month, a year, and see how it helps me. So I could see myself using it. I could see myself using it. Yeah. It's also I also am at a point where I think I might have to dig a little bit more into this topic because I find it interesting. How can I use it? How can I integrate it into my workflow? And yeah, I guess I guess I'm going to use it on Larastreamers. That's my gut feeling right now. Just to learn more about it, and then I can see if maybe I kick it out later, but I guess I want to try it out more. Yeah, also thank you for Ken for working on this. A lot of it would be also cool to hear more about your opinion about it. Not sure if you wrote some articles about it or if you've done some talks. Or maybe you want to stream about it. Yeah, do this. I would love to know just more about the tool itself, how you use it, some common best practices. I also think it would be cool on the documentation to add some of the things you could do. Because the first time I was using it, I was a little bit lost because I didn't know out of my head what other things and the typings I could use in order to make my code work. And some of those I think you could add to the documentation, maybe some examples to help people even more to get started with Larastan. Yeah, I think so. Okay, I think we are ready. 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think it's a good point here to stop. Let me check one comment again. Yeah, big shout out to Ken. Yeah, for sure, Ken. Thank you also for joining those streams, this and the last one, and helping me out. I learned a ton. I hope you all learned something new. And yeah, it was good hanging out with you again. And we probably see each other again, hopefully on Friday, where I will be streaming with Freak together, and then maybe next Monday again. I will do another one. So yeah, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by here, having a great time together, and see you the next time. Bye, everybody.